With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
Good evening, race fans. Welcome to a Sunday edition of the NASCAR Cup Series, right here for the Precision Racing League, live from the mountains of Pocono. 3 turns, and Derek, we're at it again. It's me and you all week, it seems.
I think we've been here before, right? We did this Wednesday night for 2 hours. We did the truck and the Xfinity here. We saw 2 different types of races. In fact, we saw a very clean race and a not so clean race on Wednesday. So I wonder what tonight will be.
We'll find out, but first we'll start with our amazing partners, and that'll always try to open our show here with Advanced Sim Racing. It's owned and operated by passionate sim racers. Advanced Sim Racing designs and builds the most sturdiest and most durable aluminum profile racing simulation cockpits available in the market today. All PRL members also get a 5% discount on ASR products using the Precision 5 coupon code. You got RaceSpot Sim Racing. They offer mid and high-end button boxes for sim racing enthusiasts, from the casual gamer up to the most meticulous sim racing driver. They're competitively priced and carefully handcrafted. Their button boxes are an enjoyable addition to any sim racing setup. Visit raceboxsimracing.com and get a 5% discount using the Precision 5 coupon code. And then the Butt Kicker. Butt Kicker products add incredible immersion and realism to every game. Feel every nuance and truly put yourself in the driver's seat with the Butt Kicker. Mecha Sim Hardware is a small company from the Czech Republic. Their goal is to produce high-quality sim racing hardware. If you're looking for high-end pedal sets, hand brakes, or sequential shifters, visit Mecha Sim Hardware's eShop right now to get up to speed. You can also visit our friends at Moradness, the performance-based lifestyle brand motivated by motorsports and founded by professional race car driver Daniel Morad. For more information, visit moradness.com. And then Mr. Hedge Sim Photography. Normally, we'll catch our finest moments, proudest, or simply the worst. Wednesday night had some of the worst moments from your hobby and up to 8K resolution. It is a great addition to any sim room. That's Mr. Hedge Sim Racing Photography.com. Go find them today. Derek, our schedule: Pocono. But then next week we go to Richmond, and then the week after that we go to Michigan, where you'll be one Michigan out puppy.
Wow, that was pretty terrible. I don't even have anything for that. Wow, that was horrible.
Boo.
But look at this.
I'm
all
tired.
Kidding aside. I know you are. Look at this, all kidding aside. Look at the, I'll call it the eclectic schedule we have here. We have a big track in Pocono. You got a short track in Michigan. Technically a super speedway in Michigan. the Indianapolis Road Course, and then the Glen. This is a pretty wild ending to this for these next 5 races on the schedule, Terry.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to see when we get 2 road courses back-to-back to end our season, unlike our Xfinity fellows who will end at Daytona. We'll look at our championship standings that we got coming up, the individual ones. Trent Dinkel trying to step out just a little bit. Had some great success this season. Couple wins on it with Abner Acosta with a 1 win at Chicago Street Course, looking to bounce back. He did a good job last week at New Hampshire, coming here. And Landon Mills starting to climb in here. This is a very, very stacked top 3. If they want to catch Trent Dinkel, they're going to have to beat the fastest man in practice. And then we'll take a look at our team championship, Derek.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and take a look at that. Here's a private label team. Hype is up there at 428. SGE Esports Pioneer 360. Then you got Love Racing, SGE Esports Entourage back there 2, 3, and 4. That's a close battle. Then you got SGE Esports Apex, Firestorm, Love Racing Black, The Team, Wolfpack Racing Team, and SGE Esports Ironman rounds out your top 10. So that's a pretty tight battle. The lead might have gotten away, but listen, it takes one strong night from a team like Pioneer to see if they can knock off Private Label.
Yeah, Private Label Team Hype has a whole lot of stacked drivers that's in the field for them, but we'll get ready to see what the drivers are doing here in our qualifying session that just got underway about 28 seconds ago. Give or take. We'll take a look at some of the drivers who are on the racetrack. Joshua Daniels, Trent Dinkel, Rachel Hunt, Chad Kibbe, to name a few that are out here ready to go. We'll click down on the minute. It's going to take a while to get around this racetrack. Derek, can we start right here with the 7 machine of Wayne Grassi, trying to have a better result than a driver who had this scheme, or well, is sponsored by this scheme at some point in time, and with the track temp being a 107. It's cooler than it was in practice. Maybe they'll figure it out as we take a look now at the 90 machine.
Yeah, maybe they will figure it out. It's a long lap here. You got a little over 50 seconds here on a qualifying time. You see 2 different cars here side by side. Watch along here. Remember, in PRL, we do use that that different qualifying format. So we'll see that come up. Here's Grassi now out of turn 1. We'll joke about it later, but it is turn 1. That's a turn that is 14 degrees of banking, modeled after Trenton Raceway. We'll come down into the tunnel turn here, or turn number 2. We'll watch here. Just watch along this Dirt Devil machine. This is a turn modeled after Indianapolis Motor Speedway. It is 8 degrees of banking. And now down, take this straight away here. We'll head down into turn number 3. This will be modeled after the Milwaukee Mile. 6 degrees of banking, Terry. So, I know we talked about this on Wednesday, but it is very possible to be great at a corner or even be great at 2 corners here and suffer at a 3rd. Here's one of those private label cars here. This is a 9 car. I think he's coming out of 2 right there, I believe. That's Trent Dinkel, of course, your points leader.
And provisionally your pole sitter at the moment, but interesting shot on that 77 we just had in Joshua Daniels. I made the comment a couple weeks ago that I really wish people would paint their rims. Junior he likes the side skirts painted. I like the rims painted. They painted them gold, and well, they're starting to have some good luck. You got to look good, feel good, drive good.
Take this for what it means to you, but I am in no way surprised that you like painted rims. I'm just going to say that, leave it there, and you can figure out what you want out of that comment.
Well, I'm just saying.
It's a wall.
Yeah, Davis is just smacking the wall. Maybe he learned something that we don't know, and maybe that wall is going to help him out there. Maverick Davis, you don't do that. Yeah, well, you don't do that in the tunnel turn, and that time he popped the wall a ton, but I do like the painted rims. I think it's good. There's Landon Mills in the 25, coming off a 3rd place finish last week, was able to come through the field after an early incident with Abner Acosta at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. We'll see if Landon starting to qualify, something Trent Dinkel talked about last week in his post-race interview, that with Landon actually not starting in the back of the field, he's definitely going to be a contender all season long, and we'll see what this Battle Beaver team machine can do. And if this is anything kind of what they're racing in the Coke Series, it's pretty good sets. Here's James O'Brien back there. He's currently slotted 13th in the 33 private label team height machine as Bruno Mello jumps to the P2 position, and then, well, so did Landon Mills, and Richard Regan Jr. quickly bumped him down to 4th.
Yep, quickly did bump him down to 4th. You see Jose Acosta sitting on pit road. He doesn't get out soon there. He is off. He might get a lap in here. We'll have to wait and find out, but he has an EOL. I'm sorry, I apologize. He is not going to be. There's Abner Acosta, by the way. Abner was supposed to. Go, sorry.
He got a wrist slap too for last week's caution. He's not qualifying either. He's just he's confusing people. He got sent to the back.
Yeah, I'd like to get a word to Abner later if we can. He was supposed to have done the 24 hours of Spa yesterday, and I don't see that he ran it. So I'm not sure if his team maybe ended the race early or what happened, but I could not find record of Abner running. But the PRL social media promoted he was going to run 24 hours of Spa yesterday. Of course, a lot of us are tired from that. That was certainly was a long day. Of course it was, Derek. It was 24 hours. Logic is, I am sleep deprived, Terry Radford. I've been, yeah.
I feel that. I didn't go to bed till 3 a.m. from Tri-County Speedway. Some guy named Mark Turner had me close a bar down. I tell you who's trying to close a season out. That's Trent Dinkle. He's going to start on the pole. Landon Mills sitting 3rd in the points is going to start 2nd. Richard Regan Jr., Bruno Mello, Jose Acosta, and Jeff Chandler, your top 6.
Moving back into 7th is James O'Brien with Pat Harvey on the outside. Then you got Lou Christian, a winner from 2 weeks ago, with TJ Bartel on the outside there. And then Chris Hudson and Waldo Walden. I found him. He's P12.
You got back here in 13th, Joshua Daniels, John Jones, Matthew Campbell, Charles Sumner, Chad Kibbe, and Rachel Hunt, your top 18.
Picking up at 19th is Brandon Walter with Robert Besaw Jr. there in 20th place in that beautiful 3 car. Wayne Grassi and Bradley Moore, 21st and 22nd. And then Colton Easterday and Jay McDonald are in your top 24.
We scan all the way down here to 25th, where we find Tom Amacy, Abner Acosta. Now we get, literally in the moment, of the people that did not qualify: Maverick Davis, Eric Papinow, Tristan Callahan, Jose Medina. Your top 30, Mike Witt, Brian Dixon, Richard Pruitt, your 33 drivers that will take to the grid here this afternoon to go 80 laps around here, potentially. Or we could hit time like we did at New Hampshire, where we shaved a couple laps off. We'll see what we can do here this afternoon. And if it's anything like the Cup race, Derek Watson, I don't know if you watched it or not, but if they had a timed event, they were probably going to hit their time.
I have not seen that yet.
I will not spoil it for you.
I would appreciate that. That's nice of you. But yeah, so I mean, obviously some of us have run NIS on the official side of iRacing this week, and we've seen our fair share of cautions, I think is a nice way to say it. It was quite the battle yesterday morning for me to survive.
Yeah,
I have a question for you.
I have an answer.
What do you think? I know you have opinions, whether we like them or not. What do you think of the? What do you think of this sideways start that iRacing has put in certain tracks? What do you think of it as a driver?
I like it. I mean, it's weird, but I mean, Pocono is one of those racetracks that you could fit them on it. I would like what they do at iRacing Super Speedway, where you start on the racetrack. I like that a little bit better than I do coming off a pit road, because you're having to instantly turn it. You can't go forward too much without, potentially catching the wall, and you kind of lose sight of what's around you. But I like it. I mean, right. I don't know how else they want us to line up here. It's kind of how they line them up in the real life too. Here's pole sitter. Wonder what he feels like with Landon to his outside there.
Trent Dinkle is always a cool cucumber. I doubt he feels anything. I mean, you hardly ever, except for those victory moments, do we ever see any kind of emotion or frustration out of Trent Dinkle. So I'm sure he's perfectly fine here. Well, these are long pace laps, Terry Radford. These are about 2 minutes in length, give or take. on a pace lap here, so we want to avoid these as much as possible if they want to get all 80 laps in.
Well, we'll see. Can we keep it green? Cup Series went about one-ish lap. Pace cars down. The field is in the hands of Barney, the flag man of Trent Dinkle, and green flag is in the air. We're racing for 80 of them here at the Pocono Raceway. Not fanning out like they did in the Cup, and that was not a start for Trent Dinkle. It landed Mills, and Bruno Mello got the biggest jump, and that's going to put the 25 for the team in the lead.
Here we are out of turn number 1. Landon Mills already has a great run. Now he's going to pull down here to try to set himself up for turn 2. A lot of drivers like to enter this turn on the bottom, but no, he moved back up. Never mind.
Very interesting to see that right there, because you got Richard Regan Jr. and Jeff Chandler starting to fight that out right there for that fourth place position. And for Trent at the moment, with him sitting there right there in third, I don't think that he really cared too much to start on the bottom. That bottom has not been good and conducive to good restarts.
No, I'm not sure if maybe I don't know. That was very, I mean, we saw his view there on the webcam. He looked calm and didn't look like he was distracted, almost like he missed the start there, but has spin himself back third in line already. You see the different lines of tracking out to the wall there. We'll talk about that as the night goes on. But man, Landon Mills is all over the track, Terry Radford. If there's a piece of asphalt, Landon Mills, I think, is determined to put a tire on it in these first couple laps.
Yeah, he got all the way up against the wall and then swung it back down to the low side to protect that inside lane. But we've been too wide, a little further back. TJ Bartell, Matthew Campbell have been racing it out back here for this spot. You see Joshua Daniels, Luke Christian were going at it. You're starting to put Chris Hudson in this conversation as well to go up there. But we talked about snaking in the truck broadcast, and one of my buddies at Tri-County actually was watching, and he loved your point about why would you snake? And he found it even more impressive that you asked me the question and said, why would you do that? It looks dumb. And he agreed. He said that was probably the dumbest thing he's ever seen, is why people snake on iRacing, especially in the truck. You're going to get the draft anyhow.
I mean, I get why the leader does it. He's trying to break that draft. Why even do it behind the leader is what I was confused by. If I was second, third, fourth in line behind the leader, let's just stay in line and catch the guy. I was so confused, but that's not happening here. What we're seeing more happen in the front, it looks like, is Landon Mills is kind of pulling the old Dale Jr., leading every line kind of thing. Look at this. It goes down to the bottom, but he's going to get passed on the outside. There's no way that doesn't lead into him getting passed, I would think, eventually. It's like he thinks there's a second draft line down there. What is he doing?
Maybe he's just playing defense to that inside line. We see TJ Bartell back here in the number 74 Shell Pennzoil Camaro. That's a little blasphemous, don't you think? Shell Pennzoil on a Chevy? Nobody see that on a Ford.
Yeah, it's something.
Wonder what Joey Logano or
Kevin Harvick
or Ryan Blaney or what one of them would think if they saw a big old Shell logo sitting on a bow tie. But that'll be funny. But look at that high lane. You see right up there in front, Matthew Campbell got way out of the groove there, trying to make the run on Chad Kibbe. He got cars in the wall back there a little further back, starting to fan out. But I'm starting to get a little confused myself with what Landon Mills is doing. He was clear down almost to the pit wall for a second. That got a little wild.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. Now they're going to start to double up here. Maybe that I would if I was someone second, third, fourth in line, maybe sixth or seventh. I'm going to get down there. I'm going to form a line like they are. Look at that. They're starting to form a line on the bottom, and they're going to let him slowly suck them up to the lead if he keeps pulling that move. That's what's going to happen. He's going to give some small ounces of draft, pardon me, and he's going to help pull a second line in this race. But on top of this 77 machine, Terry, when you get outside in a corner in a tunnel turn like that, that is scary. I think we've both done it in a race. We both, I think, when Wednesday discussed our hate of that tunnel turn. But you get outside in that turn, and it feels like there's nothing you can do to keep it off that wall. You're fighting like a gorilla to keep your wheel, turn to the left. You never fought a gorilla before?
Heck no. I just don't like this track.
I know you don't.
This is one of those places where you're just never right. You just don't feel right when you're racing here, and a lot of people try to explain it as, you see Matthew Campbell right here. He's trying to explain to himself why he can't get the run on Chad Kibbe to get that position. He has the momentum. He has the speed in the car. He showed it in qualifying. He was a couple positions up, but just can't seem to get it. I'm so confused when we show this camera. What in the hell is Landon Mills doing?
He's the only one doing it. I mean, here's my only thought, and I don't agree with it, but maybe he thinks he's breaking the draft down the straights. Like, maybe he thinks by doing this, he's not letting Bruno Mello, Trent Dinkel, Richard Regan get that draft off of him and suck up to his car, but they're in a 3-car line regardless. He's going to end up... it is likely he could end up just clipping Bruno Mello, trying to get back in line, or eventually they're going to pass him, or both.
Yeah, I'm sure Landon's going to message me after this race. I want to know what he's doing, because watch him when he comes off the corner right here. He's going to come down this front straightaway. Look how far down he goes. He goes clear to the middle of the 2 dotted lines, and he is the only one that's doing it.
Talking seriously for a second, the only guy I can think of is he must have a set he loves. Of course, we don't talk a lot, I don't think, about how this is an open setup race. These guys get to make their own setups or work as a team to build a setup. Does he have a setup he loves, maybe tight in, loose off? Is that what we're looking at? Like, maybe he's just so snap loose off that he's willing to deal with it to get the speed he has, in the straights and the corners?
It looks like he's just turning down there, though. That's what's crazy about it, is the back end that looked like it's over rotating. It just looks like he's intentionally turning it down there. I mean, back in the day, I don't know how much NASCAR you watched, back in the mid 80s and 90s, like watching older broadcasts. I don't want to assume your age, but Davey Allison used to do that. So did Cale when they raced out here. They would go down and try to hold the middle, but they were in a total different car. I just don't get it with the next gen car that much.
Yeah, we're gonna have to figure it out. I mean, obviously, the difference, as you said, the cars that Davey and Cale drove versus today is the draft package and the aerodynamics and the different factors. But I don't know. I really don't. But focusing back on P3 for a second, I talked to Trent Dinkel tonight, Terry, before the race, and his comment to me was, I don't know if I'm fast enough to win this race. And I kind of smirked when I read that. Like, Trent Dinkel not fast enough to win something? I'm skeptical.
Well, look at that right there. Bruno actually kind of peaked down just a little bit. He peaked down, looked like he got right in the wake to try to catch Mills in the 25, but you just see I think he's just trying to smirk just a little bit. But you got a couple fights going on around around these parts. You got the 31 and the 77 going at it there. Jeff Chandler, Joshua Daniels fighting it out for the P5 positions. They've been making contact. Caution on the speedway. That's number 1, lap 10. Find out what this was. 88 was
involved, yeah. We'll get the replay machine loaded up here. I think it's going to involve the 34 and the 88, but we'll wait and find out a replay and see what happened here. So here we are, 11 laps in. Before the replay loads, Terry Radford, I'm going to ask you how many people take tires. I'm going to put you on the spot. I'm going to say everybody for the record, just before you answer my question.
I'm going to say you have to play strategy here. If I'm... I'll say probably about 12 come down.
The back 12, top 12?
I don't know. I think it's just going to be 12 altogether. I think you're going to see... You're going to have to split the field. if you sit around and follow a race leader all race long, because I don't necessarily think that Landon's coming down. So take a look at the replay right here, Derek.
Now we're taking a look here. This is going to be out of the tunnel, turn 2, the one modeled after Indianapolis. And it's thinking just under him. Oh,
well, hello.
There are some police forces too. Would love that as a training video. That was a pit maneuver and a half. I was watching here. I'll give a cheap plug. I was watching On Patrol live earlier before we came in, and I saw a cop who could not pull that pit maneuver. I'm just going to say.
I like it.
I think everyone's going to pit here. I really do not. I like your idea, though, for the record. If I'm Abner Acosta, who wasn't
then if everybody else is staying out, or if everybody else is pitting, I'm staying out.
Well, you do sort of march to the beat of your own drum. I think we've learned that over time.
No, you just don't. You have to play something. You have to play some strategy. And look at that.
That was almost the only time Landon Mills hasn't made a left-hand turn off of turn 3 so far.
But Bruno Mello, Jeff Chandler stays out here. So did Mike Witt. You got 3 of them that stayed out here.
I'm curious about the back parts of the field. Nobody else looks like, but if I was Abner Acosta or Jose Acosta, who wasn't allowed to qualify due to some, incidents last week, why not take your shot here? You got to get to the front somehow. In fact, here comes Jose Acosta down pit road. Okay, he's moving up the board just because of where his pit stall is located.
But
go ahead.
I think I would have imagined. I mean, we had some 2-tire stops. So I mean, Jose took fuel only. No, he's still in the box. Never mind. He took 2 tires as well. He'll come out 10th right here. So that was either a fuel only. Maverick Davis took fuel only. It took a second for my timing to go. So you got a 4-tire stop with Landon, a 4-tire stop with Trent. Maverick Davis on fuel, 4 tires, and it looks like fuel only as well for Jose. Richard Pruitt looked like a fuel only stop as well. So, I mean, a couple drivers sitting on here just, trying to roll the dice, trying to play some strategy, get some track position. If this is the hand we're playing, and if we get a caution every 10 and 12 laps, Derek, and we're going to pit for 4 tires, this is a great move for some of these drivers.
No, it's a great move, especially for Chandler and Mike Witt, who were in the back of the field. This is a great call to get up front and have a different idea. For Bruno Mello, I mean, he was already up there, and he was in P2 before this caution came out, so it's just a way for him now to control the field and see what happens. Now, the interesting thing to note here that always comes to mind is when we get new guys in the front of the field, from my recollection of the times I've been in the booth here on Sundays with you, we've not really seen Jeff Chandler get to the front of the field and control a restart that often. So, as a driver, does that make you nervous to have someone like that up front? Not as a knock on Jeff Chandler, don't misunderstand my comment, but as in someone who doesn't get to control a restart that often, as we're watching Bruno Mello here with that beautiful widescreen monitor, by the way. I want one of those.
We should definitely ask. We should definitely ask Nick Hunter in here what it's like thinking that if the caution came out at Texas that I would have controlled the restart on the oldest tires in the field. I'm scared. I would be terrified. I mean, in all honesty, in officials, I run pretty decent. The caliber of drivers that's in the PRL, it's hard just to jump in here and win, especially from open setups to fixed setups. But in the open world, if you're racing a short track, or even if you're racing a 1.5 miles or a 2.5 miler like this, you're absolutely terrified that somebody stayed out. And the person who stayed out was the driver that just completely dumped somebody in the 88. So, he took blame for it. He's going to get his caution point, and he ain't going to be able to qualify next week. But at the end of the day, he just cleared himself into the right rear quarter panel of another driver, and that right there ended his night. Now he's going to start right behind Bruno Mello, who was already second. Be interested to see if the 78 and the 88 are able to keep this thing green. And you're supposed to quench your thirst with Gatorade, Derek, not get turned by Gatorade.
I've got one sitting right. I've got a cucumber lime Gatorade sitting right here, actually.
Oh, man, that's gross. I have an ice-cold Coca-Cola Zero Sugar, since it is the official fan refresher with the NASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing series. But they should grab their Cokes. Green flags back in the air. Bruno Mello's hard on the throttle. And Jeff Chandler actually got a really good jump right there. Now it's going to be 3 wide going into 1, and Landon Mills almost cleared himself over the 88.
And if you're Bruno Mello, that's exactly what you want to see. The more they're side by side, 2, 3, or even 4 wide at times, that's only going to allow you to pull a little bit further out in this field.
Yeah, and here you see Chandler's going to go to the outside on Landon. He's going to be able to hold that spot. Landon wasn't able to get around to him. The fight's going on back here. That mid-pack's kind of been going after it, just a couple rows behind the race leader. Jose taps the wall just a tad bit. You see Witt, Dinkle, you see Maverick Davis right there. There's Witt starting to fall back just a little bit. He restarted 3rd. He's already fell to, he's about to fall to 6th. It looks like he's on the bottom, and the outside train gets to rolling, but hey, he's got a good pusher, and Richard Regan Jr. gonna shove him down the front straightaway.
Yeah, the way Richard's looking, though, there it is. Richard does not want to push. Oh, there it is. And that's gotta be.
Oh, he's coming back. No, he's coming back. And oh, God.
Caution's gonna be out. That's I don't.
Holy shit.
Wow. Like, I have so many thoughts that I want to see it again. Like, I'm not sure if Regan dumped him or if he just came across Regan, but that move of just being full throttle, I have opinions. I'm going to wait. I'm going to reserve this until we see what happens. But I have opinions, Terry Radford.
I apologize for that. That was crazy. What did we just watch?
That is going to end a lot of racers' nights, either actually because they're just done, because they're damaged, broken toe links or broken motors, or at least, you know, in their shots of any real opportunity to winning this race. That's a mood, as the kids would say, I think, right? That's a mood. Did we still say that?
I'm not hip. I have no idea. Whoa. We just took out quite a bit of this here. And if I'm, let's see, at Colton Easter Day, I got Lou Christian. Mike Witt is definitely going. We'll take a look at the replay right here of how it started. This is coming out of 3 or turn 6.
So
he's getting the push.
Yeah, and Richard Regan was not interested in waiting. You could see this by the way he was kind of moving around, I thought.
Oh, he just turned. Oh, no, Mike could have turned.
I'm not sure. I think Mike Witt came across the hood. We'd have to. Oh, this is the unfortunate part. This is the part that makes me angry, honestly. This is, listen, I understand that brakes are not, you know, all, right? Like, unfortunately, you know, science takes over and things happen.
Rachel Hunt, nowhere to go. And then everybody else just piles in, and that takes out the back half of this field.
3, 4, 5.
If we can,
I don't know. Wow.
If we could get a shot of behind, or Regan, to me it looks like he went to block. And,
I agree.
I mean, that's what it looks like to me, is that he blocked there. And I mean, I will. Wow. Well, that puts us under caution number 2. It is lap 17, and here's the onboard shot with what we wanted to see from the Dirty South Racing machine of Richard Regan Jr. Pushing. We'll slow it down. He's just pushing him, you know, Talladega style. He's going to come down right about here and work his way below, trying to get the run. He's got it. He's still got it. Still got it. He just turns.
I mean, see, to me, this is a 50-50. I'll be honest with you. I think that I'm not sure who I'm ready to put the blame on for that part. But this idea that I got it, and I'm just going to stay in the gas and I'm going to rejoin the track. I want to be respectful in what I say here, but that's ill-advised. That's what I'll say. That's not going to happen.
You're better than me.
That's the kind of moves we see drivers try to pull at a super speedway, like a Daytona or a Daytona, with all that banking, and it doesn't work there. So why you would think that works here? Now, as I said during that replay, I understand brakes are not absolute. I understand you could hold a brake, and it's not going to stop instantly.
But it's going to keep you from doing that.
There was no indication in my eyesight that, yeah.
Well, and that ended the night of a lot of good people, and Lou Christian's one of them. Lou's had really good runs this season, and he had nowhere to go. I don't even think he realized that he was going to hit him. I mean, this is race over. You got John Jones still on pit road getting damage fixed.
That look from Lou Christian was impressive in the sense that it was very well composed. He might have still been looking at replay and trying to figure it out on his own side, but wow, I'm confused and I'm frustrated and I'm almost speechless. And knowing me as you do, Jay Radford, speechless is not a condition that I usually suffer from.
I'm with you. I don't get it. I mean, I've never been a fan of disrespect, and I don't think he lifted, and I would love to watch the replay.
Yeah, well, we'll see it later. We'll need to look at it on our own probably and see what happened and form an opinion. But that seems much, I think, would be a way to put that. So
it's still an ill-advised. It's still an ill-advised move.
Yeah. Now the one thing I noted too, and I couldn't quite figure out from the replay before we go live here and get back to green. Richard Regan was bumping all over the back of his bumper. There was not any solid bump drafts. Like the way and I talked about this during the 24 Hours of Spa yesterday. Which you can see here on RaceSpotTV or on the iRacing Esports Network. You need to bump draft right down the middle. Otherwise, you end up possibly turning someone. Now, I'm not saying Richard Regan turned him. What I'm saying was I think the reason that Richard pulled out of line was that he was frustrated that he could not get a straight bump draft on the 88 machine.
Well, we'll see if we can get some solid green flag laps in like we did on our first 11. Barney the flagman waves the green flag. Bruno Mello gets the jump there. Jeff Chandler was to the outside. And you got Landon Mills and Trent Dinkle down there on the bottom. That's your first two rows, but Maverick Davis up there on the outside lane trying to get the run to formulate. Chris Hudson now looking to get inside the top 5 for the first time here this afternoon in that number 43 Air Force machine. And Jeff Chandler holding his own on the outside lane, keeping that 25 of Landon Mills at bay. That's a big shot from Maverick Davis.
Maybe for the first time tonight, they are so side by side through the tunnel turn, and that is a difficult task. That is not as easy as these guys make it look to be. That is a very narrow turn. It does not have this big sweeping corner. It's hard to get through. Landon Mills is trying to make that pass, but just not set it up yet. Now they're 3 wide. He wanted them to fan out earlier. They just took some time. Now we're back to 2 wide here.
Yeah, I think they're going to calm down just a tad bit here and not want to necessarily put it too crazy. But if the Cup Series is indicative of this, we'll have 40 laps. Will be roughly our pit window, and the pit window opens lap 40-ish. So we'll see what these drivers do strategically, as most of them came down on the lap 8 caution. Some of them pitted on the last caution. Most of it was for damage repair or to top off with fuel or just to get tires. But they were all around here. As you take a look back here at 31, that's Eric Papanow. He's just relaxing back here, and Eric finds himself currently, if if I can find him on my board in the 22nd position, trying to chase down the league admin here, Charles Sumner, who's in 21st.
So, I mean, we'll see some cars out here as well, Terry, who were maybe involved in that wreck, but maybe just had some minimal damage. I think Charles Sumner had to fix a little bit of damage, but we'll wait and see what happens. Some of these cars might just lay back the rest of the race. In a 10-week season where there's only one drop week, you really need to finish out every race you can, either for your personal points or maybe for your team points. And so we'll see some drivers probably limping around after that big accident we saw before the last yellow.
And we get 2 green flag laps in here. We've single filed out all the way through the field until you get to the back of the back, and now it looks like we'll have a person pull out there. That's James O'Brien, go to the inside of Maverick Davis for that 8th place position. It's gonna down the short chute here. Still see the 56 of Richard Regan Jr. chasing down Chris Hudson.
Now, Richard Regan is a story that's going to interest me as the night goes on, because obviously, in the grand scheme of that yellow, he just, was not the biggest victim. But whether you think Regan turned Witt or whether you think Witt turned onto Regan, there is likely a little bit of damage on the right front of that car. And so Richard Regan might find himself in a spot where he stays in line, he's fast, but he might find himself not able to lead this race if that opportunity would arise.
Yeah, and for Richard, I'm not going to say that he's not having the season that you necessarily would expect out of him, but I'm not too sure he's a big fan of this next-gen car. We haven't had a chance to talk ever since he started working more, but he goes to the inside there of Chris Hudson. But for Richard, he's kind of been struggling to find his footing here, as Chad Kibbe almost lost it there off of the tunnel turn. That's a difficult place to get that thing to rotate. Very easy to hit the gas and just get the thing to go too much for you. But for Richard, I think he's trying to develop and learn just a little bit more. And a lot of these drivers, you got to find the development throughout the season. You have to lean on people, and you lean on people that you don't think that you would. Like I know Trent, he teaches people. Landon helps anybody. Landon actually helped me win a race at Michigan, and he helped me with the setup and put a good truck under me, and I went out and won a race by speed, crazy as that sounds. And same thing with Abner. He teaches as well. He's one of the PRL instructors and coaches that goes out and teaches, whether road or if you want to learn the oval side of things. He does the same thing. Richard will teach you as well. But you lean on people to get the development that you need in this. We'll take a look right here. I believe that is Chad Kibbe. It is, and number 23. Trying to get a better spot. Kibbe sitting in the 14th position, wanting to climb up a little bit higher.
Yeah, riding on board here, and you see just that nice calm. You see a little bit of movement in that wheel, nothing too crazy. We'll check the wheel movement in and out of the corner here. He's pretty calm. A little bit of fight out of that corner. I can see it in the wheel though. Just a little bit of wob up. Y'all cautions out again. Looks like emacium might be the cause. I'm not sure yet. I'm just hearing that in my ears, so we'll have to wait and see. I think we're gonna have another situation like the lap. Well, maybe not like the. We're gonna have another pit maneuver, maybe. Hopefully without all the carnage. This will be the replay here, and let's see what's going to happen. Guys, what are you doing? That's in the tunnel turn, I think. Oh man.
Colton Easterday gets a piece of that as well. He went to the outside wall.
Guys, patience here. This is such a it's like we're at Richmond, Terry Radford. I see these moves at Richmond, and I don't understand, but I appreciate. Maybe I understand these moves at Richmond.
I can't wait for Richmond. We're going to have to run a race together.
Well, that's fine. We can do that. But I'm just saying, you get up under someone at Richmond and you try to make that move because it's a short track and you have to be aggressive. This is like a 2.5 mile track. Well, you have plenty of time. Why are we spinning people?
Beats the heck out of me. I know I'm excited for Richmond week. It's one of my favorite short tracks. It's the wife's home track. I very much enjoy racing.
Now we know why it's a favorite track because the wife said so. All just came clear here.
Take a look at Pat Harvey here in the number 67. Currently running one spot outside the top 10 in P11. He's got a nice little mini fridge right there.
That might be the cleanest living room in all of sim racing.
I don't know if... Yeah, I'm sure. I think that's the man cave. He's got the fan, the sim rig, the mini fridge. I think the only thing that kind of confused me is the wicker baskets. If maybe that's the snack pen, or maybe when he gets mad he just goes over and maybe it's the dog basket or something if he's got a pet. But look at this strategy coming to fruition. They started listening. They finally started listening to me. Do something opposite, because obviously Trent and Landon wasn't making passes there. We go right there with that's Tristan Callahan. That's a big setup.
Look at that. And I think in the background, Tristan is watching us over his right-hand shoulder. Hi, Tristan.
Hi, Tristan. Is he watching us for real?
I think that's the broadcast just behind his head there.
Well, he's just chilling.
Both hands on the wheel. Both hands on the wheel.
Yeah, don't text and drive, my guy. Oh, he's pitting. He's pitting. Yeah. Okay. He's pitting. Yeah, I think he's got us on there. He might wave at us.
The gloves are coming off.
The gloves are off. Oh, is he got damage here and he's just sitting there getting fixed? I think he's getting something repaired. I like the Power Rangers thing. He had the Power Rangers logo with the old poster up there. Go Power Rangers.
So, talking here for a minute about strategy of the race. I did confirm a little bit ago. There is a tire limit for this race. It's 4 sets of tires total. So they started with one set on the car, obviously, duh, and then they get 3 more sets throughout the night. There's a potential that some drivers may have used either 1 or 2 more sets already. Oh, that's Colton Easter Day. That's not. Colton. Sorry, that's not Colton.
Colton, say hi to us here.
You know, I have a funny quote for you, by the way.
I'll message him since he's in here texting in his group. I know Colton's probably texting us, so let's see. I'll at Colton Easter Day. Hey, Colton, there you go. I told you I was going to send you a message. Look at it now. You're finally moving out there. Old Easter Day with the Power Rangers. I didn't know he was a Power Rangers fan. I was a big fan of the red one. The red Power Ranger was always the best. Jason. It is. It's Jason, and I love Power Rangers. I had one of the Rock'em Sock'em blow up Power Ranger kickboxing things. You fill up with water, then you kick the mess out of it. I got that for my 5th birthday, and nothing made me happier than the Power Rangers blow up like Weeble Wobble little punching bag.
It weebled and wobbled, but it wouldn't fall down.
It wouldn't fall down. It'd come back, and I always wanted another punch to the face.
Well, speaking of
water.
Speaking of weebling, and I can't say this now. Speaking of weebling and wobbling, there's been a lot of that on the track tonight. Now we got Landon Mills effectively back on the front row here. This is basically the start of the race. Terry Radford, you got Trent Dinkle on the inside, Landon Mills on the outside, and if Landon Mills gets the lead again, do we go back to the weebling and wobbling out of all 3 corners?
I sure hope not. It'll be fun to go. I do have to shout Joshua Lee out. I don't know if he's watching or not, but we made a pretty fair trade. He gets to use my broadcast's sim rig to come call the Off-Road World Championship on August 2nd, which I'll miss that broadcast with you guys for PRL. We'll put somebody out there. And I get to go to Monster Jam. So August 4th, I go to Monster Jam, and then I get to go. He's going to do it to me, too, at Inmarket.
Did you see what he did for Vargas and Shieldhouse over the weekend?
Yeah. Yeah.
Their names up on the board, and
I told him he has to do it for me too, and put me on the screen so I can dance around. I'll wear my Macho Man Randy Savage outfit for him.
I know you will.
The pace car's down. The field's in the hands of Trent Dinkle, who was your pole sitter, finally got the lead back. Landon Mills, Joshua Daniels, James O'Brien, your top 4. Nobody's snaking out of line here except for one. That's 4 tires on Richard Regan Jr.
So this time, unlike the start of the race, Trent Dinkle got a great start and a great jump on the start, so he will take the lead here out of 1. Richard Regan's loose out of that corner plate, but he's still down in line here. It's going to be Rachel Hunt on the bottom of your screen there. You saw it at the back of that shot. You cannot go 3 wide through the tunnel turn, Terry Radford.
That you can't. I think a lot of people learned that in Road to Pro this week. And I think a lot of people learned it in NIS as well, as Hunt goes up the middle 3 wide. And that outside lane didn't necessarily want to take it, but Rachel was caught up in that earlier incident, the one with Mike Witt going through the grass, our second caution of the night. Making a good rebound for herself in the number 16. Up to 13th as Landon Mills takes the race lead back. They'll go barreling into 1. It takes 1/10 of a second. A couple car lengths will separate the race lead, and 4 tires. You talk about the tire. Oh, and he washed up there, almost got in the side of Chris Hudson.
See, once again, Rachel Hunt on the outside here out of 2. This, of course, as I said in the beginning, is that turn modeled after Indianapolis at 8 degrees of banking. Now we're into the turn for the Milwaukee Mile, this big sweeping left-hander. This is turn 3. So, you just want to talk about it? Do you want to get out of the way, or do you want to broach this topic again?
This place has more than 3 turns.
Some believe it do. So let's walk you through it on a lap here. We'll watch as the cars go by. Some people would have you believe this is turns 1 and 2 here.
It has to be.
After the, I think it's, is it Trenton Speedway, Trenton Raceway? Do you know what?
This is Trenton Speedway.
Speedway, okay. So you come down this first straight, or I guess the second straight here.
The short chute.
The short chute. We're coming to turn 3. This is the tunnel turn named after, or modeled after Indianapolis.
And this one right here is just a tunnel turn. It's just 1 turn. That's turn 3.
Right. Next up, I have an alternate theory for you, by the way. We're going to do this one more time. And then this would be turns 4,
3, 4, and 5.
4 and 5.
Right here. Yeah. 4 and 5, right here.
All right, now watch this. I'm going to take you through one more theory. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
So now we're down the front straight here. This is a very, very long straight. You can go really wide. 5 wide down here, by the way, if you wanted to. And Landon Mills is proving that. Okay, watch this. Now, this is turns 1 and 2. We did this last time, Trenton Speedway. By the way, look at this 3 wide action. We're being kind of silly here, but they're doing... Richard Regan is determined to move here. Now, some would have you believe, Terry Radford, this is just a kink. This is not a turn.
I take that option, too. I like that option that it's just a kink right here instead, and you don't count it as a turn.
Yep, this is like the kink at the Daytona Road Course. You don't count that as a corner. And then, now, you're in turns 3 and 4.
I can see that. I rock that theory, but I'm on board. I'm on board with the FTF crew on this one. It's 5 turns here. I don't care what people say. You can count this a million times over. There's 5 turns at the Pocono Raceway. That whole triangle theory, I get it, but if you take a triangle, you have a very tight, normally a regular triangle, you know, has its line and then it meets at a 90 degree and then another 90 degree. Those corners aren't 90 degrees, so it's not an actual triangle. You know what I'm saying?
I do. So
yeah, if it was 90 degrees, I'd take the triangle theory.
So I guess the question is it the tricky triangle, the quizzical quadruped, or the pesky pentagon?
Oh, the pesky pentagon sounds kind of snazzy. I think that'd be pretty cool. If anybody at the Pocono Raceway is listening, let's change the corner names up a little bit. 1 and 2. You technically could say turn 3 for the tunnel turn if you want to count it as a turn. 4, 5 with the longest straightaway possible. It's
And there's a big move here. Richard Regan still determined to make that work. I don't think he can. Maybe he can. I shouldn't say he can't, but that damage on the front of that car still makes me curious. I would think there would be. Maybe there's not, Terry Rafford. I would think there had to be a little bit of damage from when Mike Witt got over the front of that car back there.
He lifted.
11 or 12. He did lift.
He lifted quite a bit. I mean, Richard kept it from necessarily plowing in the sides. You take a look right here with Tristan Callahan right behind Bruno Mello in that ninth place position. Something interesting here about Callahan. You talk about somebody who has progressively gotten better all season long, and I still don't understand how Tristan races with that microphone right there. He must have to holler into that thing. Like, he's really got to yell to get anybody to hear him, unless that's just one of the microphones that can pick up a fart from a fly or something.
I'm really off topic tonight and kind of sleep deprived, so pardon me for doing this, but I can't help but notice those seafoam green shorts that he was wearing. Those are a choice.
There's a lot of interesting people that puts the cameras up. So kind of interesting.
I'm scared too. Can I say that? I'm scared too. If you watched me race and I had a camera on me, like the faces I would make and the biting of the lip and the mumbling to myself, and no, I'm scared to do it, Terry Bradford.
Here's a big story that has come. Abner Acosta missed the wreck, started in the back, has not gotten through this field, sitting in the 18th place currently. He has made no real moves other than missing the massive carnage that was the corner. He ain't done nothing.
Yeah, I was trying to remember who I was talking to pre-race, and I want to say it was his, it was Jose Acosta, not Abner, but I got a comment about how hard it is to pass here in this next-gen chassis and setup here, and I think that's coming to fruition and proof for Abner Acosta, who, by all means, I would think would be higher than he is in the board. Abner's a very, very talented driver who does very well. Of course, this race is not over, so we'll see what happens. Once again, Landon Mills is going to lease out of a corner, but nope, never mind. I was going to ask you, I thought maybe Landon Mills had slowed down on the whatever that is. This is Matthew Campbell here. Now, we've seen Matthew have a pretty solid race up here, Terry. He's been running up, near the front of this field all night. At times, he has gotten up a little high in the corner. And at this point in a race, even here with 37 laps in, those corners are starting to rubber in where all the drivers are running that same line or set of lines. When you get out of that line and you get up there where it's not rubbered in, or maybe there's just marbles up there, you can feel it. Even in sim racing, you can tell when you're not in the groove.
I think it's cool to see Matthew Campbell jump on the cams with us here at Pocono, and he's got looks like extra speakers, or that's his microphone all the way up top. Caution flag is out, and I'm not going to speculate here, but I would imagine that if I saw the 88 in my camera shot, that he would have been the caution, and I believe I'm right.
Wait and see. Take a look when the RaceSpot replay machine loads up here. But now we're basically halfway through this race. Yeah. So when we catch the pitch will not open this time, but when we do catch the pace car, we're basically halfway through. Let's take a look at this real quick here. It's Mike with the 88. We've seen him earlier tonight, obviously. Just by himself, just kind of gets down there below the line, and that's the tunnel turn, right? That's turn one. Sorry, I can't read. That says turn one right there in front of you, Derek Watson.
Eventually, you kind of gotta park that thing, don't you think?
I'm gonna give benefit of the doubt, maybe unjustly, and say You know, it is possible the damage taken in that car earlier, it could be really difficult to drive. And I don't know. I'm going to give benefit of the doubt, but let's move on. So here we are, lap 39. Come around to start lap 40. We're halfway through. For some of these drivers, they've used one, maybe two sets of tires here, but now that pit window is in play you talked about, everybody has to pit here. Even if you don't want tires, you want gas, I would think. They're just not out of two, so I'm not yet here, but it'll happen.
Yeah, you make it to the end from here. You know, you're I don't know if we're under time or right on time at this moment. We're not privy to that one. Our timing goes off of actual pace. That's what we go off of. So we see the laps, but the time does not match the time of iRacing. I wonder if we could see what the time remaining in this session is as everybody comes down pit road. 44 minutes. 40 laps. Yeah, so they got 6 minutes. They're 6 minutes under time if we're going.
Yeah, so I show us taking 37 to 38 to finish at this pace. So one more caution, I think, and we ruin that. But, for now. Yeah, for now, we're just at 44 minutes. So if we get out here and we go green and we stay green, we'll be okay. Here's Colton Easterday, by the way. Colton had one of my favorite pre-race quotes. He said, you know, there's only 3 turns here, and somehow I'm still slow in all of them.
Poor
like, I feel you. I feel you. You and I talked Wednesday night during the Xfinity or the trucks, I forget which one, about how this is just not a track you nor I enjoy as a driver. It's a very different track, and this is very much a love-hate facility. Either you love this track and you're happy we come here, maybe you're sad we don't do it twice anymore, or you're thrilled that we're down to once a year.
I'm sad that we don't do it twice, and the only reason why I say that is because the fans show up to this racetrack. Like, you know what I'm saying, regardless of what you think the racing is like, or how you feel in a certain spot about this racetrack, this has been a consistent sellout for NASCAR. And, you know, we, as a sport, I think if you're looking at this, you say, we want to go to tracks that we know we can sell out. We want to go to tracks that produce good racing. Pocono produces good racing. I always tell people strategy racing is the best racing because it makes you think. That's really the only reason why I'm not going to say into the business, but this is really the only reason why I enjoy calling races. Is the strategy part of it, and I enjoy running races. I've won 1 strategy race, and I've lost about 10 strategy races. So I'm, you know, not batting 1,000, but it makes you think, and it makes you put all of your senses to work, that you have to understand what you're doing, and you have to be smooth with it. But fuel only for Rich Regan.
Yeah, and to close that point you said about people showing up, there's a beautiful picture going around Twitter today, and I don't know who started it, so I don't want to give credit, of basically the crowd's growing year over year. Over the past few years, we've been allowed to have fans here. Yeah. The infield crowd today versus the infield crowd in like 2018 or 19 was an enormous difference in a positive way. I don't know who started that tweet today, so I don't want to give credit to the wrong person, but it was really cool to see going around today.
Well, and they got an absolute wonderful. They have a wonderful track record. They also have a wonderful product that's on the racetrack, and do I like the winner? No. Did I want to see Denny Hamlin win the race tonight?
Hey!
But did I enjoy the race?
Hey, yeah. What happened to no spoilers?
Oh, poopy. Well, don't watch the race now. You know how it happened.
Next, you're gonna tell me Never mind, I'm not gonna ask.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I already spoiled it for you.
Next, you're gonna tell me that he's Luke's father or something. I
think he is. I never watched Star Wars, so I have no idea.
I'm sorry. What did you just say?
Yeah, we'll touch that topic on the next caution.
All right.
Pace car sedan gets ready to turn down pit lane. Field's in the hands of Richard Regan Jr. Green flag again, lap 42.
Looks like Richard Regan got a great jump here. In fact, he's going to assume.
Oh, no.
That McDonald's machine in the bottom was involved. This now will put us under the clock, Jerry Radford. I cannot see how we finish this under laps with this, but we're going to wait and see. There was a car spinning way to the inside, and he would have got down near pit exits. Well, we're under caution again. We're going to wait and see what happened. I think I saw that McDonald's. Look at that red and yellow machine involved. Our spotter in my ears is not debating this. Maybe that's not McDonald's there. Maybe I shouldn't say McDonald's. That's not McDonald's. I saw red and yellow and I just assumed. I'm hungry.
I can eat.
Wait and see a replay. They're going to come around here and catch the pace car before we do our 3 pace laps here, which is one of the features that iRacing put in, what, a year and a half ago now, maybe, where any track over 2 miles, they have cut the pace laps down by 1. What it does means everyone pits together. Lap cars and lead lap cars come down together. There's no difference here. And the only downside of that feature, in my mind, Terry, is that for the lucky dog or cars who are trying to get repairs, it feels like a scramble to get anything done with that 1 less pace lap.
Yeah, and yeah, I think this definitely does put us under the time here, and that is a nice looking scheme, though.
It's bright and colorful. It certainly is. That's the 42 machine here. I'm pretty sure he was involved in that car spinning in the back of our shot.
It's Brandon Walter going around.
So let's get back. Let's get back to this topic. You said it. You dropped a bombshell on us right before we went green, and
what?
I think you actually no, not that one.
Oh.
I think you actually maybe caused this caution by those words you said. You've never seen Star Wars. None of them. Like, not
Never.
The Mandalorian.
Nope.
Not any of it.
Nope.
Okay. What about Star Trek?
Nope.
Battlestar Galactica.
Nope.
All right, let's watch this replay here. This will be off the start. Call it for us, Terry Radford.
You call the old guy. Do some work over here. Well, you see the restart. It looked good from the front. You see right here, Brandon Walter. He's going to step out of line right when Jose goes to cut down. He takes him all the way down. Jose didn't lift. He didn't move. That's what Brandon gets. You block. You block, you pay.
In regards to that 99, though, like, as far as spinning that way and getting to the inside wall at Pocono, getting just the back end and really honestly barely hitting the back end was probably the best result he could have received out of that. There's plenty of other hits he could have taken in the front or the side of the car that could have been way worse. But I want to come back to this. Is there any kind of like nerdy sci-fi-ish type show you have seen? Is this just because like you were too busy watching like, you know, WCW, WWF in the 90s and you just, you know, didn't have time for that nerd stuff, or what happened?
Well, many people don't know. I'm kind of quiet about my personal life. I don't ever go deep into detail, but you know, I grew up really poor, and TV wasn't a thing in my house until I was about 13. And that's when we moved out to the city. We used to have the old bunny years, and we only got channel 2, 4, 5, 7, which was our Fox in Tennessee. And then we got the CW, which was channel 11. That's all we had. So, you know, back when NASCAR used to be on the old
whatever channel
FX,
was on that week, yeah.
They would go on FX. We would have to listen to the Motor Racing Network or PRN. We'd have to switch back and forth and hear those guys on the call, and then if it was on Fox or NBC, we had a good chance of watching it. I never watched a race with it on ESPN until I was probably about 14 or 15. I had to go to the hospital and have a surgery done, and I watched the Nashville Easter race when they used to take the NASCAR Busch Series out there. I watched Carl Edwards win that race in Nashville.
Let me sidetrack that. Is that the Nashville race with the interesting prayer? Or is that the one?
No,
okay.
it was the year before the interesting prayer, before they took Nashville off the schedule. But I grew up really, really poor, and we just never watched TV. And if we watched TV, we either had the Tennessee Titans on, which always came on either CBS or ABC. NASCAR was on Fox or NBC. That's really, or the Grand Ole Opry. That's about all we watched growing up in my household. But we're going to watch some great racing. Richard Rica Jr. is going to try to get a good restart over Landon Mills, who regained second from Trent Dinkel that time. Now it's teammates on the bottom. No teammates on that outside lane. Green flag back in the air, and 3 wide again. Jose Acosta back down to the bottom.
Yeah, they are still 3 wide. See the back of that shot there. They're 3 wide out of 1. Oh, hold on.
There we go.
No, there it is. It's Maverick Davis and I think Pat Harvey involved in that incident, Terry. Earlier when I talked to Trent Dinkel, I mentioned that, hold on, let's get the replay in. Do that, Timmy. All right, let's see if out of 1 here, or into 1, sorry. Let's see this 15 car on the outside. You see that Pat Harvey thinking 87, right? And just going to tap him. Just tracked out 2 wide for being 3. Maybe didn't know he was 3 wide. Might be the answer to that. That sounds crazy, by the way, Terry Radford, to say that, but there are times in the sim when you do not know you are 3 wide until you find out.
I'm going to go off script for a second and hope I don't get in trouble for this one. I don't open YouTube and read the chat, but I kind of figured when you threw me under the bus with the Star Wars thing that I would, I would at least check, see how many people popped up in the chat. Obviously, Colton Lane. How the heck have you never watched Star Wars? First, he ignores our questions about the corners. Now he hadn't watched Star Wars. This is the worst news I've heard in a while. You got Dane out there in the chat that is demanding answers.
Right.
And so he went pretty deep into this. He started well early on in this and said, Terry, what the hell triangle have you ever seen with 2 90-degree angles? Well, if anybody took geometry, I'm not sure if it was 90 degrees, but these are not this is not a triangle. If you took a triangle and authentically put it in the racetrack, it is got pointy edges or a nice little round edge, and the top to whatever geometry-wise, the angle in the center. And Mark Pennington said 3 turns, 3-turn guy, keep it simple. And they gave me flack in the chat. And yeah, but they asked if I've ever seen Lord of the Rings. No, I haven't.
I knew that without asking. I stopped before we got there.
Dane told you to stop asking about paints and for me to answer the question. Man, come on now.
That's a flaw. I need to do better about keeping chat open, so I'll try to keep that as a goal so we can address those things.
Keep Terry on track of. All I'm saying is
okay.
If you take a triangle and look it up. Let's look up definition of triangle. I'll look it up while you give your point.
Well, no, my point's separate. I'm going to move on for a second. This is a touchy topic, and I don't want to get too deep. You have your reasons for not watching Star Wars as a kid, and I get that, and I don't want to touch that. That's personal. But you're a man now. I don't know if you're an older male. You have years to have caught up on something. Like, I don't understand you. But I'm guessing you've watched, Talladega Nights, 25, 35, 104 times, right?
Something like that.
Yeah, I knew better.
All right.
Here, hold on. Here's a hot take. You ready? I'm going to get chat mad at me. You ready?
Uh-huh.
Talladega Nights is like the worst movie ever.
Okay, well, that's that. Before the chat lights you to pieces, I looked up triangles for dummies is what I looked up, okay? If you look at it by the side, it is a 60-degree curve in the top of the triangle and on both corners of the triangle that equal to the bottom. So you have your long straightaways like you have here at Pocono, another long straightaway, and then you have your short chute like what we have here, and then your tunnel turn will technically be the very tip top of the triangle. If you look at the angle on a right angle instead of an isosceles triangle, you have a 190-degree angle. There has been no 90-degree angle here, so that should not differ. You have an acute triangle, Mr. Dane. All angles are 90 degrees. Every one of them equals it. So an acute triangle is 90 degrees. An equilateral triangle is 60 degrees. So we need clarification. What kind of triangle is this? And I want answers. So what kind is it? It's an isosceles. The two sides are equal length. We don't have two sides that are equal length here. We have a right. It could be a right-sided angle, but show me a 90-degree angle on the racetrack. Is it equilateral? Show me 60 degrees. It's not acute because all angles ain't 90. If it's a scaly triangle, all angles are different in lengths, but, well, that could be it. This could be a scaly triangle, but it's not obtuse because I don't have a 90-degree angle.
All right. Well,
Fight me, Dane.
Now that geometry class is over, I'm going to point out Colton Lane says...
Yeah, Ken Robert.
Talladega Nights is fun, but not exactly what I call a quality film. So... I think I have some love in the chat. The Talladega Nights is a horrible movie. I'm just saying.
I'm telling you.
Here, I'll do this. I'll go one deeper. I'd rather watch Cars than Talladega Nights.
I do like Cars. We're coming to the green here on what could potentially be. We could be racing on an acute triangle, which is 90 degrees. I'll post a link out there for everybody out there to take a look at what the degrees of a triangle can look like, and it'll tell you exactly where you go. Because I believe a Dorito Colton Lane could potentially, it could be an acute triangle because all angles are delicious and they're good. Pace car is going to come down and in. Richard Regan Jr. is going to try to do this again. Green flag's in the air. Teammate still on the bottom. It is a 1-2-3 teammate alliance of sorts down there with Dirty South and Private Label Team Hype. They're all good friends. They're not officially teammates. But we'll see. Can we keep it clean and green as Landon Mills looks to the inside for second? It's not going to be able to make it work there.
No, not going to make it work. He's going to try to track it out, but almost squeezed that Dirt Devil machine and took the front bumper off that car. That's the 77 of Joshua Daniels there in that Dirt Devil ride. Well, now the question is, we're through the front straight. Have we maybe calmed it down a little? We maybe get a few laps in here. We'll ride on board with James O'Brien, also part of Private Label Team Hype. If you wonder why those guys are leading the team points, well, here you go, Terry. We've got, 3 of them in the top 5 with 25 minutes to go.
They've been the class of the field all season long, and we're out here giving hot takes to the fans in the chat. You don't like Talladega Nights, and Richard Pruitt almost likes the wall. He goes all the way to the top. Rim rides this thing around, that's what, 1 and 2? And it comes into 3 right here. Trying to figure out what line he should take. And the top 6, 7 has been in line. And now, as I say that, Chris Hudson's going to jump to the inside here, trying to get the 2-for-1 special. He's going to pass Matt Campbell, and he's going to try to get around James O'Brien as well. That is for the 5th place position. Chris Hudson moves up. Hey, and Richard's doing the same thing that Landon did.
Look at this up front right there on the bottom at 42. You see, I believe to be Jose Acosta down there. And that's a praise for him because, of course, he was one of the drivers not allowed to qualify. So throughout this wreck fest and throughout the numerous yellows, he has found his way to the front of the field here and is definitely doing better. I'm sorry, that's Jose in 8th. I said for a back, but he's up in an 8th, and I think he's doing better than Abner as of this point. Yeah, Abner's back there in 14th. He struggled all day long, or back in the 16th, pardon me. He struggled all day long.
Yeah, not the accustomedness that we have seen out of the number 5 machine of Abner Acosta. That's the one private label team hype car that has not been inside the top 10 at all tonight. I want to stress that one. It is not there. And Trent's, I think this is Trent's wife that has commented in the chat, Corey Dinkle. Or mother, I don't know. Pocono is described as similar to the Bermuda Triangle, an irregularly shaped triangle with 3 corners of various degrees. I'll take that as a valid one. It's still 5 turns, though, regardless of how we go. And Colton seems to think that Abner is washed. I don't know what that means, but it sounds good. Hi, Mom. That is Mrs. Dinkle, the mother of Trent, and hopefully she can confirm in the chat that he is a massive gym rat because he always has a stonewall face, and when he wins, he looks like one of those people that sincerely ate half the protein powder and went for it. So we'll be curious if we get confirmation in the chat for that one. But single file racing, Derek. It's been feast or famine here tonight. We've either seen a bunch of cautions or we've seen a decent amount of green flag laps.
And you know, if you can say anything about the cautions tonight and the cause of them and the reason why people are being aggressive, is because look at this. We're single file around Pocono. It's becoming harder and harder to pass. So in those restarts, you feel like you have to make a move and you have to make something happen fast in order to get around someone. And it's a high risk, high reward kind of moment. Now, I do have a question for you. Colton Lane in chat asked, where'd he go? So he says, Terry, I'll ask again, how many corners does a Dorito have?
Technically, if you want to be technical, it would be 6. Because you got the entry and the exit. That's 2. Entry and the exit on the bottom. There's 4. Entry, exit on the side. That's 6.
That is actually a very valid answer that I was not expecting, so thank you.
I only say that because the wife ate all my Doritos. So hashtag boo the wife for eating all of my nacho cheese Doritos and leaving me with the barbecue sweet and tangy. So that's what I get for going to do real life broadcasts. It's Landon Mills is trying to hold back there, and we look just a little further back in this field. We see Bruno Mello, who has fallen off quite a bit here, not having the run he had earlier in this race, and he goes to the back, and think we have a fight for the lead going on here as well, as Richard Regan Jr. and Trent Dinkle were side by side for a moment. Trent looks to be thinking better of it and pulled back behind him, but Richard had all sorts of company right there next to him.
Look at that. It's almost like when Richard Regan went down to this move at the bottom, I actually thought Landon Mills was going to follow him and leave Dinkle alone on the outside, and then Landon Mills got back in line. There must be a strategy here that's deeper than you or I can understand, because now we've seen two different leaders do it. And obviously there's something going on that you and I just aren't privy to.
Yeah, I would definitely want to know what I definitely want to know what is what's the idea behind it. Maybe it'll make me smarter race-wise. Maybe it'll make me smarter when it comes to the broadcast side of things. But I know one thing's for certain: Trent's got to run. Trent's been faster consistently here. He's been faster by about 0.2 of a second. He crossed the line this time by. We'll see what the lap times show. He's still faster. I mean, he's picking them up, putting them down now. I think the tire advantage has started to play into effect, as the tire wizardry that's right here has been able to work it.
Look at that, though. What I noticed was different there, Terry, was that Trent Dinkle really had the run on Regan coming out of 3 there, and then Regan opted not to do the swerve. I'm not sure if he was concerned about that run that Dinkle had, being able to pass him, or what happened, but that was different that time around.
My thing with the whole draft is if you're getting a push from the back, I agree with you, Derek. The outside lane into 1 has been preferred. If you're getting a shove down the straightaway to get your way to the outside lane, if they swing to the bottom, you're kind of trapped, right? Like you ain't got no other way.
Look, here's Dinkle now going to make a move here. He's waited long enough and wants to take that lead back from Richard Regan.
Surprised he's going to the low side there.
Likely will have a hard time making the pass here out of the corner unless Regan has really suffered through the corner. But Dinkle now, what he's going to do is he's going to try to set himself up here for turn 2. Like I said earlier, a lot of drivers like to dig in here into this corner and make the pass here and sort of outbrake your opponents here in turn 2.
He got the nose, but he's going to lose it there. I mean, the speed and the momentum you're going to carry off that outside lane, that's what's kind of confused me about the whole swerve. I get you're breaking the draft, but you're giving the outside lane up. If you get a shot down the front stretch, you're giving all of your speed up. You see right here with Landon Mills, he's going to go door to door with the number 9 of Trent Dinkle, and Landon in the 25. Potentially, yeah, he's pushing the fire out of Richard. That's going to open up the door here and pinch him on the bottom as Chris Hudson comes sliding in there. But, I mean, you just can't mash the throttle back down.
Now it looks like Landon Mills might get to the bottom here, and with others now we got a 2-wide race going on here, probably 3 or 4 spots back here. Now let's see what happens here. Oh, hold on, that's Landon Mills and Daniels.
That's a big wreck. Caution's out, and Richard still held the lead. That was a massive wreck that took place right there, and the hits keep on coming for the drivers up front.
I want to wait and see the replay before I say anything. Let's see it here. Watch here. It's going to be Landon Mills and Joshua Daniels getting involved.
Oh.
It looks like Daniels just moved down, I think. Caught Jose Acosta there in 42. Now we're hearing from a spotter here, or I guess the spotter we have in the booth with us, Terry, is maybe that Landon was not pushing square. Oh, he's on his quarter panel. Okay. Yeah, sorry. So, let's see.
A whole lot going on.
Get to see it again here in different view. This will be out of 1 down the straightaway here. We're going to ride this from Landon Mills' point of view.
He gets to the door. Daniels is there.
Just about.
This is so close. Oh, he just comes up on him. I mean, that wasn't a lot, but that was enough. Yeah, nowhere.
Daniels was there just for the ride, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's all he got was a free ride to pit lane.
So now we're at a point here where there's 15 minutes left. Most drivers probably have a set of tires left on pit road. You don't get to sell them on Craigslist if you have them left over. I'm a fan of going and getting if you're 12th on back, and never mind, they're going to go 3rd on back. Here we go. All right. Oh, maybe not. Look at that line. Who's in, who's out, I don't know. That's crazy, but all right. Like I say, Richard Regan and Trent Dinkle stayed out, as did Chris Hudson, James O'Brien, Bruno Mello. Abner Acosta finally cracks the top 10 because of that. But boy, oh boy, Landon Mills, Pat Harvey, others, Jeff Chandler, who are going to put fresh tires on. That could mean something here. If we stay green the last 13 minutes or so.
I think you're asking for a tall task, because you're going to have drivers that are coming through this field that have been up front all race long. I look at a driver of Jeff Chandler. We mentioned him when he stayed out, and he was able to hold up front for quite some time. And you'll have Mills. Maverick was loose but had speed. I think there's going to be a couple drivers that are going to change the dynamic of this race in a big way, because our first driver coming off the pit lane with some tires is going to be Landon. And then you got Matthew Campbell back there as well, and 12th Harvey Kibbe, Waldo Walden, your top your drivers. The first 5 was on this racetrack with fresh ones. I would be shocked that once we take this green flag, we'll take it with a little bit under. I would say right around 11 minutes. Be kind of where we would go to take this green flag. What they can do in 11 minutes.
Yeah, it really just depends. We'll see what happens. But I have one more yellow flag question to end the night for you, Terry Bradford. You ready?
Scare me.
All right, and you and chat can all chime in. There are, in my mind, 3 official Cars movies. We're not counting the side movies, not the Mater movies and all that stuff. So, rank the 3 Cars movies. First off, have you seen all 3 Cars movies?
Of course.
Okay, I just want to make sure we got to start this. You've not seen Star Wars, so don't of course me like I'm asking a dumb question.
Anything that's got to do with cars, I've watched it.
Okay.
I liked Cars 2, and then I would go Cars 1, Cars 3, third.
Are you kidding me? Cars 2 was first?
Yeah.
Well, there's at least one person in chat who agrees with you, who said 2-1-3.
Yeah, and we're on board together. It's 2-1-3. That's the way I've always. Cars 2 was my favorite, only because of the body of work. Cars 1 was just a classic, and then Cars 3, because they had so much in it, where they were able to incorporate the Formula. The Formula One, they had the massive stage and all that kind of came into it, and that was pretty cool. But yeah, Castor gets it up there.
You had Alibi in chat. I don't know who that is. It's someone in the race. I don't know who this is.
That's Colton Easter Day.
That's Easter Day. Okay, I'm a 1-3-2 guy for the record. I'm 1-3-2 for the record.
Okay, I mean I mean, you can flip them. I mean, it's the same way. I mean, you can turn them, but
2 was an awful movie for the record.
Oh my gosh! Here we go. We're gonna right at 11 minutes is what we're gonna see when they cross the start-finish line this time by. It's Trent Dinkle, Richard Regan Jr., Hudson, O'Brien, Mello, top 5. Abner Acosta, 6 green flags in the air. Fresh tires, 4 tires. Bad start for Abner. It checked up the field. He just got in the top 10 for the first time here this afternoon. Chris Hudson dive bombs it in there into 1, washes up, almost moves James O'Brien out of line. they'll single file it out here, and it's an absolute hornet's nest. Oh, good save
there.
We complete the first lap back under the green flag. Update you where the drivers are who pitted on that last caution flag. Mills is up to 7th. TJ Bartell to 9th. Pat Harvey is right in 10th. He just got past Brandon Walter there for that position, overtaken to get himself back inside the top 10. Now he goes to 9th. So that moves him up there, moves Maverick Davis. He'll be right there in 12th, Campbell 13th. The rest of the field have been kind of fighting each other out here for these positions, trying to get every little bit that they can to maximize these tires. It'll be 9 minutes to go here. 9 minutes and a half as they get to the tunnel turn. Derek, the intensity level has to pick up.
It has to pick up. And right now, if you're Landon Mills, I really believe here that if this stays green, Landon Mills has every opportunity possible to come out here and get to the front of the field. The question is if it stays green, and they're snaking again at the front, I believe, to try to break that draft. In fact, that might have been Landon Mills. We've seen an auto line there from the back of that shot. I'm not sure. But Trent Dinkle is your leader with Richard Deegan and James O'Brien in the top 3 here. Landon Mills up to P6 already here. And that's quickly moving to the front of the field.
And we'll keep it up to date with what's going on, but the back end of the field is where the racing sets. TJ Bartell has worked his way up to 8th. He just got past Jay McDonald. Rough lap estimate, barring any caution flags, 12-ish would be the math that I think we've kind of come up with up here at 8 into the lap times that we are running. I will say that we've only fallen off, and this is why tires are meaningful to an extent, but not extremely meaningful. Lies.
Well, maybe not.
It's only 2/10.
Maybe only 2/10, but it's also meaningful on a confidence level. That's what I like about it sometimes. Is there's that kind of placebo effect of thinking that just because you got new tires, that the car's better than it was before the yellow. So I'm not sure what's going to happen here. I think Landon Mills can still get to the front, but we'll wait and see. About 7.5 minutes to go here. Yeah, Landon took 4 tires, so I am not surprised to see if he can get to the front here. See him try it.
Richard slowly closes in. It holds about a 10th for your race lead with 7 minutes and 8 seconds remaining on the clock. For those of us that are just joining us, you've missed a good race. This has been entertaining when it comes to strategies, when it comes to the cautions, the way that we have played this one out. A lot of drivers on fresh tires right at the moment are attempting to go back through the field. We've had 7 cautions for 21 laps. We have worked lap 69 right now. Mills up to 5th, but Trent Dinkle leads lap 69. And they're all snaking now.
Yeah, now they're all looking. Now we're back to the truck race we saw on Wednesday, where everyone's now trying to snake to find that line. And you mentioned that confusion. We have, but of course the difference here is, that truck race went caution free, and well, put it politely, that's not the case here for this Cup race. And that was the kind of the comments that when I spoke to Charles Sumner before the race, Terry, he said he didn't know what to expect out of this Cup race tonight. He said, he's like, I watched the trucks go caution free. I watched the Xfinity League race have a couple wrecks. He's like, I don't know how aggressive I should be, or if I just wait for the wreck to happen. Turns out it was more the latter.
Got Landon Mills climbing up the field, just gets past Chris Hudson here. He's gonna hang to the door. You got Bruno Mello up there pushing Landon Mills, trying to follow through. Bruno's had an up and down day as well. It was very, very close there as Bruno stays with him. He stays to the door. But for Mills, he's looking to continue a good season. What he does not want to see is Trent Dingle continuously win.
Yeah, that's going to be hard to do here. So now we're watching Landon Mills. By the way, up front, Trent Dingle is still holding off Richard Regan Jr. It's a few spots ahead. Here's Landon Mills now taking that pass for P4 out of turn. Oh, so that's turn 3. I can't read the sign. Mills now P4. There is the battle for 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 on the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. And you see the leaders in front. You see Trent Dingle still holding off Richard Regan. You got James O'Brien there in P3. But Landon Mills is closing quickly here with about 4 minutes left.
For James O'Brien, a 4th place finish last week, wanting to one-up that here, potentially looking for a race win. He'll look to the inside of Richard Regan Jr. for 2nd and go 1-2 for private label Team Hype. But this is exactly what Landon wants to see. It's what Trent Dingle wants to see, is 2 wide racing behind him. As you look at that fight, and where we go, we're going to try to go 3 wide into 1. That always works. That makes everything better. And new fastest lap, Jeff Chandler. New P2, Landon Mills. You're talking about confidence. He had the confidence into turn 1 to go for it.
I'm telling you, sometimes that's what new tires does for a driver. It's that placebo effect. And there was an episode of the Dale Jr. download recently where he talked about how a crew chief or a spotter can talk to a driver. And maybe sometimes the info you give isn't always correct, but you kind of boost that driver up. Oh, your car looks great. You know, maybe it doesn't, but that placebo effect and mentality of a driver can matter a lot. Now we're seeing Landon Mills here. It's going to run down Trent Dingle. Ironically, that gap here is going to change at the line. We'll see what it really is here. Of course, Landon Mills comfortable snaking that line. He's the one who's kind of started it tonight. But Landon Mills is like the meat in a private label sandwich right here, Terry.
And Bruno makes his way back to the top 5. His up and down night potentially is going to end on an up as he gets around Hudson, who is very loose. Is now Jeff Chandler comes working his way up. He's on 11 lap old tires as well. So for Jeff Chandler in the 31, working his way through the field. Contact behind him with the 43 and the 31. But the fight goes for the race lead. 1, 2, 3, separated by under 4 tenths. Now make it 6 tenths of a second. We'll separate these top 3 with Richard just waiting in the wing. See the snake of the draft. He brings it down to under 2 tenths. Now it's right at a 1/10 and a half. Can he make the run into 1, Derek?
I don't think he's going to make the run into 1, Terry. He could, but I think the run he's trying to set up, we've seen him kind of look a couple times. He's trying to set up the run into 2. Now, the problem is with only 1 minute and 40 seconds here, he's running out of opportunities. But I think he's going to do it this time. He's going to try this time. He's going to try to outbrake him in the corner here. Not going to get it. He's going to be side by side, and then I think Dingle will have the advantage here in 3. Let's wait and find out. Of course, that car in behind with the drum. Oh, never mind.
Oh, what a drive in 3.
For you.
Took the 9 out of the line into turns 3 and 4. They have 2 laps to go. And it's the battle for the race lead and the win. It's a 4-car blanket. Private label Team Hype 2 and 3. The team leads, and Dirty South Racing or Regan Bogue Motorsports, whichever one you want to categorize Richard Regan Jr. for, He races for himself, but Dirty South is the team for the Cup Series. Mills holds it. Dinkle wants it. Dinkle's going to defend his championship, and you don't want to see a guy like Landon Mills get a hot streak up. But teammates are going to work together here as they're going to come to the white flag this time by.
I'll tell you what, Terry, it got close there for a moment. I was wondering if Dinkle was going to maybe try a good old classic bump and run on him, but he kind of backed it out. Now here we come white flag. We're right on board here in just a moment. We'll head back to the lead here on the white flag. This is Bruno Mello. You see the gap there, but let's get back to the front here and watch this battle here.
Richard Regan Jr. dive bombs to 33. That right there is potentially going to end. Oh, Dinkle got loose. That should end his chances here. Is down the straight going into the tunnel turn. They'll go to the short chute here. And for Landon Mills, he's wanted to come back and win. It's what he wanted to do. He would love to. He won a couple in RSR. Regan's loose here for second, but off of turn 3, Landon Mills gets it done. They'll drag race sort of for third, and oh, James O'Brien got it.
They're still going to wreck behind him a little bit, but I think now you're seeing the benefit there of tires, Terry, which is what happened here, and probably won Landon Mills this race. See a couple last battles here. This will be Joshua Daniels battling there up to 42. Looks like Daniels beat him to the line. Can I sit back for a second, let all the cars cross the line here before we get our unofficial results ready to go through? But what an incredible race, Terry, and what I think that proved to us is how great the racing could have been if we could have avoided some of the silly calamity.
Yeah, we'll take a look at right here at Landon Mills getting the race win. Trent Dinkle, James O'Brien, Richard Regan Jr. back there in fourth. Bruno Mello rounds out your top 5. Abner Acosta, Chris Hudson, Maverick Davis, Jeff Chandler, and Pat Harvey, your top 10.
Picking up a P11's Chad Kibbe with TJ Bartel behind him. Brandon Walter in 13th with Waldo Walden in 14th. Matthew R.D. Campbell, Jay McDonald, Eric Papineau, Rachel Hunt, Tristan Callahan, and Charles Sumner round out your top 20.
Wayne Grassi, 21st. Richard Pruitt, Jose Medina, Tom Amacy, Bradley Moore, Joshua Daniels, Mike Witt, Jose Acosta, Brian Dixon, Robert Beasall Jr., your top 30. And your remaining 3 cars here this afternoon, it's going to be Colton Easterday, John Jones, and Lou Christian get caught up in that early incident. That was just terrible. Jeff Chandler set the fastest lap on lap 72, and tell you what, I don't see it. It was a good win here for the 25 of Landon Mills. We'll see if he's available to chit-chat with us, and he's not. So I tell you what, we'll grab our second place driver of Trent Dinkle here. He's going to stand by with Derek Watson.
Trent, you did it. You got P2 out of the night, and we talked before the race started, and you're like, I don't know what I can do here. And apparently P2 is what you could do. What are your thoughts on this race tonight?
I mean, this race was terrible, to be honest. I don't understand how it is so hard for the people in the back of the pack to just not wreck. So, and then, obviously I was kind of on a smart strat, to be honest, with how this league usually is. Usually with 10 minutes to go, 25 people wreck 100 times. But, I cannot believe Landon drove that far to the front in that little amount of time. But every time I saw him in the rearview mirror, he was just, making easy passes. And whenever, I'm trying to get around somebody, I got to fight him for 5 laps. But yeah, P2 is better than what I thought it was going to be, to be honest. I figured Landon was going to be quick, and then, I didn't expect Richard to race tonight, but I was kind of honestly hoping Richard would have won, because that would have taken 5 bonus points away from Landon. But yeah, so, I'll just prepare myself for another hour and a half of pacing when we go to Richmond, because these guys can't race.
There you go. So obviously you've more than likely already used your drop week for the season, so your points are what they are. You'll still hold the lead here, likely after the end of tonight. It'll now be Landon in second instead of Abner. So what is there a track on the schedule upcoming that's left that you're most looking forward to? Do you think you could secure another win at?
I mean, to be honest, unless Landon misses a week or two, he's probably going to win the championship because I'm missing the last race. So, and unless I can figure out a way to take my something with me 8 hours away to start the race at Watkins Glen, it's kind of just fighting for wins right now, I guess, and playoff points. But yeah, I mean, I like Richmond. I did good when we ran there in season 2 or something, whatever. But like I said, I don't know. It just seems like the group of guys that are in here right now. I mean, Pocono's an easy track, but these guys just are going for every inch. I mean, I look in my rearview mirror, Richard's absolutely sending Mike Witt into turn 1 for no reason. And then, like, we're all on a decent green flag run, and then Mike Witt's wrecked by himself. And it's just like, I don't understand. Usually PRL's super clean, but I mean, this might as well just be officials again, which is annoying. Because I really didn't have a car that was super good on the short run, and more had to be on the long run, which I feel like pretty much showed, because other than having one little bobble coming out of 2 behind Landon, I mean, I was cruising. I was holding in front of Richard, and he had the whole pack behind him. So, yeah, I mean, yeah.
So, listen, when we met about a month and a half or so ago when I first started doing fill-in spots for PRL on Sundays, you said to me, that Terry Radford guy, he's going to tell you that I spend all my life at the gym.
He does, and his mom confirmed it.
And I want to tell you that tonight in YouTube chat, your mom was in YouTube chat, and she says you go to the gym 6 to 7 days a week.
Yeah, I try and
she
go
confirmed
7.
it. I was right.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to stay swole. So,
well, listen,
and
I know you're.
Yeah.
No, sorry. Now I was going to have anyone you want to say hello to or say thank you to at this point.
Yeah, I mean, a big thanks to Private Label Ethica, Ty and Tommy. I mean, I wish we could have had a little bit better result tonight. I mean, obviously second's fine, but with the way the bonus points are, obviously first place is a huge advantage. And then obviously thanks to my mom, I know she wouldn't miss one of these things for the world, and all the other people that are cheering me on.
Listen, I know you're frustrated, but P2 is still an awesome run, so a good job, and we'll see you next week at Richmond.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Trent. All right, well, that is Trent Dinkelterry. He finishes P2, and I think you have caught up with our race winner.
Yeah, let's talk to the guy who finally gets done. Landon Mills, it's about time you won one of these things, and you did it at the 5-turn Pocono Raceway.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I did. I mean, I'm not going to argue with that. I got other things to worry about right now, but yeah, I'm stoked. I didn't think that would play out, and it sure did, man. It really did. So I'm stoked that I feel like a race finally played in my favor, and that was tonight. So yeah, kind of shocked with that. I felt pretty fast, so that was good. But I mean, yeah, just fantastic race. I felt like the battles up front were nice and clean, and they were pretty intense too, especially there at the end. So a lot of strategy and a lot of different cards moving throughout the race. So definitely kind of blessed to see it. Had that sprint to the end with the time limit and everything, and staying green was just the best thing that could happen.
Well, according to Trent, he says with him missing Watkins Glen, he's pretty much handing you the championship. What do you think of that comment?
I don't really think about a championship. I just go for the race win and see what that does. But I haven't looked at the points, so I mean, maybe I should.
You're third.
I am? All right. Well, I'll take it. So,
maybe second after tonight.
Maybe second after tonight. Abner kind of pooped the bed just a little bit back there in 6th.
Yeah, that's not great. But no, I mean, I just, yeah, I guess I didn't put that into account. But yeah, I mean, I'll be here for the rest of the season, so we'll see. But a lot can happen, so I'm not really focused quite on that. I'm just here to have good finishes and clean finishes, and just finish the race hopefully in the top 5 each week. So we sure did that tonight, which was great. Got the first win, but yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to the road courses coming up and just kind of everything. It's going to be interesting here at the end.
Well, I know where to go very specifically to get certain custom things for my controllers, and Battle Beaver's definitely a big partner for you and the team.
They are, for sure. Yeah, go grab something with LM25 discount code, and you'll get, I think, 5% off Battle Beaver controller. So go check that out. Happy to have them on the car, and stoked to put the team and Battle Beaver in victory lane tonight.
We always love talking to Landon Mills, and you'll have to tell me your snake idea in a DM later on. But congrats on the win. We'll see you next week.
See you guys next week. It was a blast.
Thanks, sir. It's Landon Mills, driver of the number 25, getting it done this afternoon. And our P3 finisher, James O'Brien, kind of getting accustomed to running P3s with Derek Watson.
James, P3 tonight feels kind of almost normal to see up here in the broadcast booth at the end of a race, to an interview. What were your thoughts on how tonight went? James?
Muted. That's
yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Earth to James.
I was talking to no one. I was thinking about Terry at the end. He said go win Pocono. I tried my hardest.
About time.
Yeah, I was almost there. I told you I really like this track. It's super difficult. I don't know how many turns it has. I've heard multiple different numbers from everybody. I think it's got 3 though.
It's 5.
5. Okay. It's
4.
4.
There's a theory out there that you don't count the kink, and you just do 1 and 2 and 3 and 4.
Okay. What about 2 turns then?
Ooh, I don't know. That's like
No.
iRacing Super Speedway kind of stuff.
How about
right
like
there.
1A or 1 turn?
No,
1,
no.
All right. Well, yeah, no. I had a lot of problems this week deciding on what set I wanted to use. I made a revision and wasn't sure about it. Trent kind of talked me into using what he was using, so went with that. Pretty happy I did. Car was great. Race was just way too sweaty. People shouldn't be wrecking for last. I don't know. It's just a little ridiculous. But the racing was clean up front. Definitely a lot of fun. Really intense. But I hate that kind of racing where doesn't matter how well you're doing, the draft just brings you right back. So can't really lose the people behind you. And I was looking in my mirror more than I was looking ahead of me because of how people were sending it into the turns, and it just wasn't cool. But I survived P3. Really happy with that. So hopefully it was a cool race to watch.
It had its moments. We learned a lot of things about Terry Radford tonight.
I'll have to go back and listen.
Here, I'll give you a spoiler. Do you know Terry Radford has never seen Star Wars?
Oh, why? Why?
Yeah, see, now now that's a hook.
I don't know if I want to win for Terry anymore.
So listen, last year. Go ahead, Terry.
I'm busy. Now
fine.
that I'm old now, and when you're a kid, you can do whatever. But now I'm, baby room, running to racetracks, doing this. I got too
Your
much.
kid's into it, and then you can watch it with them. See?
That's what I'm saying. See, we'll get the kid to watch it, and I'll make the excuse to watch it when the kid's born. I'll expose them, and we'll watch it as cinema together.
There you go, and it's fresh eyes on the movie.
That's right. It's new. I don't know it.
It's a lot of fun. Watch it in order.
Yeah, there you go. That's what I'm doing with Marvel currently. No spoilers. So James, last serious question. We have 4 very different tracks coming up. We have Richmond, Michigan, Indy, and the Glen. There's something else in there I forgot about. But anyways, those are the 4 upcoming. No, that's right, 4. They're very different. Which of those do you feel the best about?
Michigan, but I won't be here for it. But I absolutely adore that track. But I do like the road courses. I know I'm not as fast as Trent, but I used to be the road course ringer in this league, but not anymore. But all the tracks, actually, I like Richmond too. But yeah, it's a good season of racing for me. I'm very happy with it. Just kind of had an ill start, but I think I'm getting back up there. But I won't hold too much of your time left. Thanks to everybody that watched Private Label Ethica. You guys are putting this on. Tommy, Trent for helping me out there at the end. We were trying to work together, and Abner and Brandon. So have a great night, everybody.
All right, well, listen, that is James O'Brien. He finished P3 tonight. I want to thank him for his time. Real quickly, I want to get one comment. Richard Regan, we're still live. I have one question for you. Ready?
What's up?
In 30 seconds or less, tell me your perspective of what happened between you and Mike Witt.
Well, I tried to push him off of turn 3, and then he decided to miss a shift in the 5th. So I went to his inside, and I'm on the 4th lane, and I mean he's giving the guy on his outside like 2 car lengths, and he's pinching me. And then he went to turn in the corner like at the third cone, so he just came across my nose. So, but he wrecks every week here and on Wednesday night, so that's pretty normal for him.
All right. Well, there's your 30-second comment, Richard. Welcome to hang out. I'm sure we can talk to you post-broadcast. We'll move you back for just a second while we wrap up here. So, Terry, it was a crazy night. Lots of cautions, lots of wrecks, lots of tempers, as you saw in the interview room tonight. It won't get any better next week.
No, it will not. And next week we go to the Richmond Raceway, which is, well, sometimes known as the action track. And you can find that same time, same place, under the lights, July 30th, 2023 at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Potentially Dylan Coyle, myself, if not Dylan Coyle, Derek Watson. You can catch it all right here, RaceSpotTV on YouTube, all throughout the week, catching PRL. Congratulations to the driver of the number 25 of Landon Mills for getting it done. For Derek Watson, for Mike behind the scenes, our producer, Nick Connor, I'm Terry Radford. So long, enjoy your week, and we'll see you for more great PRL action around the turn.